so I want to keep my identity secret. Back a few years ago, I used to make leather goods for the dark web.
I always wanted to try that blurring out the face and changing the voice, like some big secret or something. Don't want anybody to identify you. I'm working with some new editing software and I wanted to play around and try it. Continue with the video. So some of you know and some of you don't, but my wife and I are selling our home in New Hampshire, and we bought land down in South Carolina, and we plan on moving there in October, November-ish, and we plan on building a tiny home. So I've been cleaning up the basement, going through stuff that we're going to keep, sell, or donate, and came across a box that brought up some old memories. So like 7 years ago, I got into the leathercraft hobby, making leather goods. And I was doing this to honor my granddaughter, Emma, that passed away. It was just something in my heart that I wanted to do. And at the time, I was doing everything with hand tools, pricking irons and just hand threading or stitching up wallets. That's what I started out with. And this is actually the very first wallet I made. I made this when I had a little setup in my shed. I had no pattern or anything. I just measured a credit card and kind of threw it together. This was my first wallet. I can't believe I found all this stuff. I actually forgot about it. And so I'm kind of going through things, and it's bringing up a lot of memories. Let me go through some stuff with you. Let me see here. Oh, this was my first bifold or trifold wallet. These are a lot of these products that I'm showing you now are goods or leather goods or whatever, wallets and other stuff that's never made the cut. The stitching was bad or something happened, but that was my first trifold wallet. Brings up a lot of memories, It was a fun time until it wasn't anymore. I kind of fell out of it. Here's a good wallet. Probably one of my last wallets I made. I forgot what leather this was, but I remember it being really expensive. But I never did anything with it because the stitching is all messed up. But it's a nice, smells really good. But it's a nice wallet. I might keep it instead of tossing it. But yeah, that's probably one of my last wallets, close to being one of my last wallets that I made. But my favorite, I did these two. I made this leather wallet, but it was way too thick of leather because at the time I didn't know about ounces, and I was just buying leather, and it was just, this wallet's way thick. I can't remember what ounce leather it was, but it was just too thick for a wallet. And this was all hand puckered iron or whatever. This was all made by hand. And I can't remember what they used to call the saddle stitch. Is it? I don't remember. It's been a long time. Here's another first attempt on these wallets with the short back of the money clip. For the money. And I can't remember. I think this is really expensive leather too. Horline or something. But that's another one. I tried to just make a simple wallet with no money thing. It was just a card wallet. And what I used to do is I used to I made this little thing I used to carry blank credit cards in, and that's what I used to figure out how I can make my pocket sizes until I started making up patterns and jigs and stuff. But that's how I would fit a wallet. And also I would do this and stack them up in there to kind of stretch the pocket out. So that was this wallet. And then of course, that little thing I used to make to carry all my Blink credit cards. What was that? Again, one of these, too thick of a leather, wrong ounce size for this type of wallet. Here's another attempt with the back pocket for money and some card slots. And this is when I started using a skiving machine, and I would skive over the top and stitch it. So you had a much more finished look instead of having, you know, just an edge that you had this, you know, stain or whatever. I can't remember all the terms, but this is the first one I made that had that stitching on the back. It's a pretty good wallet. Same thing here, you know, with the inside and this edging finished. Kind of big. This is another type of leather I got. It's like that embossed leather. I remember it being kind of expensive, but again, wrong size, ounce leather, too thick. And then this was my first attempt to a woman's wallet, woman's long wallet. I believe this is Wicked and Craig English bridal leather. And I don't remember the color of it. Buck brown or something, I don't remember. And this one had a snap. But this one never made the cut either because I ended up stitching it. The stitching came out bad. But that's it's a woman's long wallet. And then another one. This is again Wicked and Craig. Stitching doesn't look that bad on this one. I never finished the edges because I think I found something wrong with it and I didn't like it, so I never finished it. There's that one. Another long woman's wallet. I screwed up on this one too. This is Wicked and Craig leather too. I never finished it. Never put the snap on here. Something was wrong with it. If I look really closely, I'll find it. I think this was called Buck Brown or something. I don't remember what the leather is. Kind of looks orangey. But it's another one that didn't make the cut. Stitching was wrong on it. It was wonky. I'll just keep on going through the wallets. This was another wallet I tried. It was a shorter version of the pocket wallet. And again, the stitching on the outside. This is Wicked and Craig leather too, with I think it's Buck Brown and the navy blue or something. Kind of give it a little bit of that. Never made the cut either. Then I used the same leather for a little pocket wallet. I still carry one of these wallets, this design in my pocket. I just happen to like it. It works perfect for me. Got to put a money clip here. I have one with a money clip someplace. Yeah, a clip right here. This one was, I was trying to put some different color thread on. I thought it would look neat, but didn't work out. There's another one of my first wallets. Too thick of a leather. And I don't remember. I think I got this one at that leather place in Maine. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it. It's a tannery in Maine. You buy directly from them. This is another version of the woman's long wallet. And the reason this one didn't work out is this is before I didn't have my skiving machine, and look how thick the pockets were stacked up. Got really, really thick here. I was having a hard time putting cards in it. And that's before I didn't skive down all my pockets. So that never made the cut. Same with this one. This one came out like really flimsy. I think I used too thin of, or too small of an ounce of leather. I think this was like 2 ounce leather or something, and I don't know, just didn't feel right to me. Made another version of the pocket wallet. You can have cards on either side, in the middle. That didn't make the cut either. I don't know what I was doing with this thing. Like an envelope. No, that thing, that didn't work out either. And then at some point I added a laser to my leather craft, and I started lasering out designs on my pockets. MRA's leather good. So that's what I started doing there. Same with here, I laser that out. This is just a simple wallet, I guess. You already seen this. And then I try to make a like a flashlight knife holster. And that didn't work out. That was really. I had fun doing it. Another one on one of these. And then I remember I saw a video on YouTube. This is the wallet I carried around for a long time, personally. It doesn't have that back edge, but I put this little loopy-doop in here to help open the pocket. I carried this for a long, long time, and it's starting to really patina, and it's actually a very comfortable wallet. And then I watched a YouTube video on someone else that made this zipper wallet for women. And it has a place for like change or money, even though it had, I believe it had a pocket in here. No, I don't believe it. Oh, it had a pocket back here where you could put money. Same with over here, I think. Yeah, you could put money here. I think this was just for like change or something. And then of course all your cards right here and here, and it zipped up. But never did anything with this either because the stitching was really bad. This was a very, very hard wallet to make, especially being someone that didn't have any experience. Yeah. Still smells really good. My office is starting to smell like a leather shop again. And then I made one of these, an envelope type leather baggy thing, and that was for an iPad. The iPad hasn't worked in years, but I used it to size this thing up, but it smells really good. And then I started getting into like these shaving bags or whatever. This is my first attempt trying to line it with a bandana, and I sewed the zipper on backwards or something, and it broke. And then I did the strap. See how the strap's all twisted? I don't know why I kept it, but yeah. Then I started getting into bag making, and this was my first attempt to a bag. Of course, I end up skiving my bags up here and folding them over and stitching them so they look finished. But this was just something to try. Wasn't really meant to going to be a bag that I was going to give out to anybody. And this was a makeup pouch. I was going to give away to my wife or somebody, but I didn't like the way it turned out. Another wallet. This is one of the wallets I tried to do with a bandana liner. And this just folded over. I actually think I used to carry this one a lot. You can see how it's worn. That was a little bit of a fun wallet to do. Then I started getting into bags, like a handbag with a front pocket. And I did this one, got it all finished, and I ended up breaking the zipper on it and couldn't fix it. And then once I realized that the hole up here wasn't big enough, like you couldn't really use it. But, and of course I riveted on the handles. Here's that bag. And then I made myself a barrel bag. Something I found online. This here is, I kept all my electronic stuff in here. That's what I've been using it for. This was a fun bag to make, but it was really hard for me trying to stitch everything together, especially with no experience. But yeah, going through the shop and going through my basement and finding all this stuff is like bring me down memory lane. I don't really miss the leather goods. I really don't. It was sucking up a lot of my time. I was trying to manage a plumbing business and plus doing that. And I did it for a while, but I didn't realize how much stress it was actually causing me. And then at some point, it was like overnight, I just stopped. I just said, all right, selling everything, stop. I just wanted to walk away. I didn't want to see it anymore. I didn't want any more memories of it. It was stressing me out trying to do both businesses. And then I got into the hat business thinking I was going to be able to slow down my plumbing business and then work towards building a hat business and then be able to eventually transfer out of the plumbing business and just do a hat business. At some point, I had like a 5-year plan of hoping that was going to do it, and that didn't work out either. Not that I didn't want to do it. It was just, I was not making any money to it. The orders were coming in, but I don't think I was pricing them right. I think I was selling them too cheap for the amount of work I was doing, especially the embroidery hats. There's so many companies out there that mass produce. They have, a bunch of embroidery heads, and they can do all these hats all at once. So they were really price competitive, and I just couldn't. So I was being at their price with only one head, and I mean, that would take me days to do an order, and to suck up my time to make pennies when I could be out doing a plumbing job. That got too stressful because I was hoping to, kind of get busier and add more equipment, and I don't know. Didn't work out. I'd say focus to my plumbing business. It's what I know. It's what pays my bills, I guess. And then that, when you go into a hobby, you just spend way too much on equipment, way too much on my material, because you're so amped up. You can't wait to do it. You love doing it, and then you just out of control, and before you know it, you put yourself into a financial bind, and that's me, So I had to focus more towards the plumbing, and I just said, enough. I'm not a hustler. That's the other thing I found out, that I'm not a hustler. I don't go knocking on doors. I was part of all these Facebook groups, and people will be, hey, I'm looking for one hat to be made, and it's some crazy design, and people jumping all over it. I can do it for $15, or I can do it for $12 and all that. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not hustling like one hat, and I don't know, just not for me. It's just But you got to try things to find out if it's for you or if you're not for you. Maybe you try something and you absolutely love and everything else doesn't matter. Well, that wasn't the case with me. I love doing hats, but not enough to to create myself a whole another problem. So yeah, down memory lane of the old leather goods. I enjoyed doing it at the time, and I was enjoying putting MRA's name on all my products, and I hate selling them because I felt like I was making money off my dead granddaughter. I'm like, so sometimes most of the stuff I just gave away, and I was really spending way too much money on stuff and giving it away. And then people that wanted, even if I gave it away, they would send me money, and I felt odd having the money. And then, I don't know, just the whole thing just didn't feel right to me. So I just kind of like, let's just cut it right off. The thing about me is when I'm done with something, I'm done with something. There's literally no, spending time thinking about it and thinking about it. I just pull the plug. I get to the point where my stress level is to the point, and I just, all right, I guess this is going to be too long of a video, but yeah, down memory lane, cleaning up the house, getting it ready to go on the market, and I come across a bunch of leather goods that I used to do. Not sure what I'm going to do with all of it. I know I'm going to keep a few things, but maybe I'll give them out at the yard sale, put a free table and see if people want them or something. Peace.